Well then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. Apologies for making you wait there a little bit. I was eating and we were chatting, and you'll be happy to know, folks, I've changed the battery in the fire alarm as well, so you won't hear any more beep. And if you do, then I don't know what to do at this point. Please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, because of course we will go through them as well, and make sure you hit the notification bell because you don't miss a beat, because as we've seen over the last 24 hours, news has really started to pick up, and as we know with transfers, it can change hourly. So yeah, you've got to be ready to go. So make sure you got the notifications on. You can see I've got my my two best content creation friends with me tonight. We've not been as active as last year, but people have lives. Lockie's moving. Andrea's working in TV. You know, he's an actor now. Johnny Depp, Mark II. But yeah, before we get into tonight's, and the mad thing is, I actually contacted the lads 2 days ago, saying we probably should have a look at Somerville replacements, and then the news actually broke, and we were like, "Oh my god, you couldn't have timed it better, really." So the lads have been working hard, looking at prospective replacements for Somerville, and what a time to do it, because obviously he's on his way to West Ham, or is he? We'll talk about that. Let's find out how people are.
We caused the move. You know.
Exactly. We knew. Exactly, mate. But Andrea, great. Exactly, mate. Yeah. Welcome back, mate. I've missed you. I hope you're doing well. Talk to us. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. You know, always talking about football, involving about football. So yeah, I think I'm sorry that, like you said, you know, we're not as active like last season, you know, but you know, some things have changed, of course, in our lives for every one of us. So unfortunately, it's really unfortunate that we don't have the same time to dedicate to these scouting reports as last season, because they were really fun. But today and tonight we're here, so very, very good. Overall, yeah, I'm doing well. I think that the new season, you know, is starting to build with new perspective. And of course, everybody knew that some players were going to leave. Probably, like I said the last time I was on, you know, wasn't. I was very surprised that Gray moved. In the end, we needed that move because of the money and PSR. I was also convinced that Somerville and Yonto, at least one of them, will have gone, you know, to a different club, because in the end, you know, Somerville, and I think we'll talk about him in detail, but he has a contract till 2026. The last contract he signed was in August 2022. So between the first season of March, when we stayed up at Brentford, and the other season, and the real season that Somerville really broke into the first team was after he signed that contract. So apparently he's on 15k a week. So it's not much, you know, if you look at the whole salaries of in the squad. So of course now that contract, the contract he's on right now, running out in 26, is not reflecting on a player's perspective the real value that Somerville brings to the team, because in the end he's the best player we have on the team, best player in the championships, but he's in a contract like a youngster. Like when he signed the contract, he was still a youngster in the team. You know, he had a few appearances under Bielsa, a few appearances under Barnes, you know, but then he signed the contract, and then he broke it at good appearances in the Premier League, but the first real season he had at Leeds is the last one, you know. So of course you either want to move, and in the end football has changed, you know. Players always look for the next move. We've seen it last season with Nyonto, you know. Of course, after that season, winning the Championship Player of the Year, if a move arises, of course Leeds is a stepping stone, you know, because we're still in the Championship, still in the second tier, and of course he wants to capitalize, he wants to build on this good season, and West Ham have come knocking. I had a little bit of discussion in Twitter about the price. I said that the right price for me was 30, because if you look at the current level of the markets, if you compare the prices of other wingers that have moved to Premier League clubs, to Bundesliga clubs, you know, I think if you look at that, you know, I also made a list in that regard, just to have it. For example, Rollheiser, 15 million, you know. West Ham has signed Luis Guilherme for 25, Roma, Matthias Sule from Juve, 25. Kierno Disburiol, of course, he played also on in that regard, you know, 30 million. Sinisterra, 20. You know, in the end, if you look at the market of the wingers, I think it's a good price. Not 40, 50 like other people say. It's not the same value as Olise, for example. So I think 25, between 25 and 30 with the add-ons is the right price, because let's remind ourselves that he's still a player in the Championship. I think it's good to sell him now, because if you go into next season, either if you're promoted or not, because if you are promoted, he's a player in a promoted team, but he's out of contract next season. So of course, if Liverpool or other clubs come knocking, he'll go, and we need to sell him at a lower price because he's out of contract. So better to sell him now, honestly, and capitalize on the good season that he had on the business side of it, than next season when he's out of contract and we need to sell him at a lower price and he won't renew the contract, because right now you can offer him a new contract. Okay, let's say for another, let's you know have a new length for this contract with the adequate wages. But of course, right now, if you offer him a new contract, he won't sign, because he's not guaranteed he has an opportunity to go to the Premier League. So that's my opinion. If I look at the business side of it, as a Leeds fan, of course, I'm sad to see him leaving, honestly, because he's the best player that we had last season. But it's realistic, we need to move on. I mean, need it. Also, I'm not sure that Nyonto will stay either, honestly, to be fair. But
don't.
We need to reinvest the money now. 40 million for Gray, 25 and 30 for Somerville. So you have all the tour and the power to invest and bring in also not just one player, not invest that money on one player. You can also invest on a striker, because I think Pirot, Joseph, Bamford, okay, the most sure for me, the one that, okay, I'm fine with him, I'm relaxed about him, is Joseph, the younger one. The other two, I have worries. So I think we need another one, honestly.
In an ideal scenario, yeah.
An ideal scenario, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, Andrea, now, with the sales you've mentioned, plus you add on your Llorentes, your Rockers, your Creswells, all these extra bits, there is enough cash now that there can be no excuses from the board for me, where I go, okay, so maybe January last season when we were linked to Moore, Rothwell, Brooks, maybe you can. This season we can't forgive them and say, if we need a hole, fill it, because you've got enough cash to do that. Especially when you consider the incomings we've brought in haven't been massive layouts. And if we were to get, I don't want to, but let's say we did get a Raksaki, again, that's another loan. Again, that's money saved. I get this notion, it needs to be a permanent. But at the end of the day, I think for me, it doesn't have to be a permanent as long as you get out of the division, and then you've still got more cash to spend next year, I think. But Lockie, what's been your reaction to the Somerville news, the fee, even the news today that it's maybe hit the brakes a little bit?
Yeah, I think initially you look at you look at Somerville as a player and you think he's probably a better player than 25 million, and that's probably true. He probably is. Let's be honest. But we're not a team in a league that can ask for more than maybe £30 million for the player, right? That's the situation. Is he a better player than that? Probably, yeah. If we were in the Premier League, our team's offering us 25 million. He had a decent season in the Premier League. We could say no. We're saying that's ridiculous. But unfortunately, we're in the Championship. And again, like Andrea said, look at the sales of top young players. It's rare, unless they are ridiculous, that they go for so much. Yeah. And if they do go for so much, it's silly business. It is silly business. We're not in the position, I'm afraid, where we can compete to an extent. But, and I am seeing, I put it in the chat, didn't I, about the Emile Smith-Rowe comparison, which we need to stop. All right, he's levels at this point in his career. He's had a bad few years of injury, but the price Emile Smith-Rowe is going for is not comparable in terms of the player to Somerville. All right, Somerville did it in the Championship. Emile Smith-Rowe is going from Premier League to Premier League. So the fact that he's going for more makes no sense. Okay, so but let's stop it.
That's insane. Honestly.
Yeah, and we have to say this, and this is not to diminish anything about Somerville, what he's done this season or his future. But for a club investing in a player, your big car goes on last season in the Championship. The Championship is the 11th ranked league in the world, right? It's not Bundesliga. It's not, La Liga. It's not whatever. It's the 11th ranked. It's I think it's one above or one below the Russian league. How many players in the Russian league go for 30 million plus, right? Teams are not going to risk.
I would say it's better though. Like, it might be 11th rank, but I would say it's definitely higher.
But the fact that it's the English league,
it's
down from the Premier League, massively helps. And I actually think it's improving in terms of the coaches and the personnel that are in there, of course. Yeah. But for a team that's looking to recruit a player, if the player's only played a full season where he's been ridiculously good. In that league, a team is not going to, unless they're 16, 17, 18 and they're doing that, they're not going to pay over 30 million for me on rare occasions anyway. So I think you have to context that. So
and just to add in there, like people go, well, Romeo Lavia. They say to me, oh, well, Romeo Lavia went for this, but you've got to understand that Romeo Lavia also spent a season in the Premier League with Southampton. So yes, he was relegated. But
as he was spending as always.
Exactly. And he's an unbelievable talent, right? Unreal. So it's not same. Like Maddison went for 40, but again, it's not in the same stratosphere, is it? In terms of playing personnel.
English tax as well.
Yeah. Exactly. And I want to show you this if we can put this on,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That I made this one, because it's what Lucky was talking about, Tell me if you can see it.
All good. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's
zoom.
great as well. No, that was fine. Mate.
Okay.
Yeah. Go back one. So there. That's perfect. Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell.
No. Go back.
Okay.
There. You're there.
Finally. Okay. So I think what Lucky's saying is great, because if you look at the movement between the wingers, transfer for wingers is the name of the Excel. If you can see at the wingers, look at the old club and the new club. Almost in every transfer, an English club is involved. So it shows you that there's no money in the other leagues, basically. So the only big money you can get for a player like Somerville is from a club in the Premier League. Of course, Olise, 15 million, Palace to Bayern Munich, okay. Savio, we know that it was a Girona, a club into the hemisphere of City Football Group. So Tra to Man City. Use Briol, okay, can also play on the wing. I don't know why he's here. Let's move him out. So Greenwood, for example, of course, moved from 27 to Marseille. Guilherme, also West Ham. Sule, Hutchinson, 22. Sinisterra, 20. So if you look at that, almost it's not that big. I think it's fine, the price, because the only big winger that moved this season is Olise from Palace to Bayern Munich, okay? And he's unbelievable talent. He's way miles ahead Somerville right now. Yeah. Miles ahead Somerville. And also Sule,
Look at Philogene and Fatawu, who are championship players. Look at their price comparable to what we got. I think that's a decent barometer. Yeah, more than double.
And that's it. Like you said earlier, even the Lavia one, he didn't play in the championship. He was relegated from the Premier League, right?
Yeah,
so that's like Sinisterra saying he was a championship player. He wasn't. It was a Premier League player that got relegated. Played one game at the start of the season. Like it was the same situation as that. So it's on the, like I said, as a player, will he probably be worth more than that in the future? Yes. If we were in the Premier League, would we have sold him for 25 million? If we believe he's as good as he is? No. Are we in there? We're not. That's the player wanted to go, and rightfully so, obviously, with the opportunities. And that was made clear. And Dan Faka did say, or the club did say earlier on in the season, if there's any player that wants to go, and then they are adamant they don't want to play here anymore, we will find a fee and sell them if the fee is fair.
Yeah. So. And also, look at Brighton, 7 million from Villarreal to Southampton. He was scoring goals for fun, when he was in the championship with Blackburn. Yeah. So look how much they got, Villarreal, they got him for a free, I think, in Blackburn. Right. And now they got like 7 million is very, very low, honestly, compared to the age. I was just 25, He was scoring goals for fun in the championship. Then
I thought he was much older than that, I didn't realize he was just 25.
Yeah, he's still, wow. Honestly. I was surprised too, honestly. 28 Benrahma too. So I think he's fine in the end, the price. Not 40 and 50, Look, Savio is a Brazilian international. So, okay. And also, he was an internal transfer at City Group,
If, and this is the big part, and this is what we're talking about in this video, the replacement is everything, surely, independent of what happens here. Because if the club are adamant that they have their top target still there for if Somerville was to go, that they had weeks ago, that they would have had months ago, actually. Apparently, Graham Smith said the club have been ready for this for months. If that is true, and there is names on the list, top players that they want to bring in, that were top of their list and still are there now, now's the best time to go. Because if you sell 100%. Somerville in 3 weeks, they might be gone. And then you're doing emergency, who can we get on loan quickly type thing.
This is the
thing. Look, I wish we kept him, obviously.
Yeah.
This is the thing in it as well, like... I was saying this on the video the other morning, Raksaki, other names that we're undoubtedly going to go through today, if we wait, they might not be available in 3 weeks' time.
Exactly.
And then what are Leeds going to do? We have to go for another loan. And no disrespect to Anthony, but it's clear now the manager did not rate him. And the manager only took him as, well, we need a body. And Bournemouth have gone, well, you can have Anthony. And he's gone, yeah. He didn't want him. You can see that. So we don't want another situation like that. We want Farke to want the player so that when he comes in, he's like, yes, this is a guy that I can work with. And this gives us time to do that. 100%. 100% it does. And I think, the fee is what it is. And, there's some in the chat saying, why should we let him go and all this? You can't, you have to factor all this in. And I think the biggest point, and I know people might not want to hear this, but the biggest point is money. You've got a player there who's on £15,000 a week. You will have West Ham, other clubs. What's he going to get? I mean, he could 50, 60, 70, 80. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's insane. So, as much as he ain't kicked up a stink and that, and that's why, I don't know if you agree, lads, but we've seen transfers in the past where I've gone, but with Gray, with Somerville, I'm excited to see how they do in the Premier League. Same like I was with Rafinha, because it's like, you've left the right way. You did it all right. You didn't kick up a stink. It's like, go and prosper. And I think if he does go West Ham, I mean, they're in transition now. They've got a new manager. You've got Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen. If they bring in Fulcrook, you're like chomping at the bit at the potential in that squad, right?
Yeah, it's an exciting project. It is. As a footballer, respectful to where we are, do you want to play another season in the Championship where you're clearly too good for that league? Play with Kudos and then what I'd choose to become a footballer on 4 or 5 times more money. On the Lopetegui, of course.
And what's going to get him that Dutch call up? Premier League.
Exactly.
Premier League.
And he wants that. And I think he can get it. I think he's good enough. I genuinely do.
Same.
But do you think he walked straight into the side?
What, the West?
West Ham, yeah.
I spoke to Lawless yesterday, and he said they'll get him in because, like, I think he mentioned Kudus playing centrally potentially in Somerville. I don't know. Listen, I don't know. Maybe not initially straight away, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we? But do you think, Andrea?
I don't think, honestly, at the beginning, because they have Bowen, I think they have an established side. Of course, we'll have to see what like Lopetegui does. Of course, I like the idea of Kudus centrally. They also brought in with a lot of money too, like we just saw, Luis Guilherme from Palmeiras. So
where's he play, bro?
He plays there, on the left.
Right, okay.
On the left and the right, he can play on both sides. So I think he'd be the main guy competing with Samuel, honestly. But I think if he adjusts to the way they play under Lopetegui, he can easily walk into the side. But at the beginning, I think you need like a period of adaptation, and he can also. I think Bowen stays in the side, honestly, because he's like one of the veterans inside there. Bowen, Kudus, and Somerville, that looks like a good front line behind the striker, honestly, to be fair, if they go live without,
And I think the one thing I'll say for Somerville, he backs himself. He went to Bielsa when he weren't playing and wanted to play. He said, look, I'll go on loan. He stayed. He took the number 10 shirt. He carried this team last season. So he clearly backs himself, and not in a way that he's arrogant or an attitude is like, I know how good I am and I'm going to show you, and I think he won't be fazed by that anyway, that competition side of it. So I wish him well. Do you think West Ham, the deal will get ironed out and Leeds are just trying to maybe pull a bit more out of them, or even maybe Somerville's trying to get a little bit more cash? What do you think?
Honestly,
it can be. It can be with Wasserman as the agent. They had a little bit of runs in the past in the NFL with the 49ers in American football.
Oh, really?
Yeah, these agents are Wasserman. I think they had a little bit of rifts, in the past with in American football. So I think that look at Zirkzee. He talking about Dutch players. He was meant to go to AC Milan, but they didn't find the agreement about the commission for the agents, for example. So he went to Man United because Man United were willing to pay the commission to the agents, the fee for the agent, Wow. So we'll see, hopefully we try to put, like someone mentioned, in the chat, we try to put a sell-on clause, in there, because like Lockie said, the value will rise, of course, in the future. Like now, probably the right value is the price is going for, But if he gets better, of course, and he gets sold, for example, to Liverpool, maybe even Barcelona, in the future, if he keeps improving, we can get a little bit of money into that deal, because look at Calafiori. Calafiori went for 43 million from Bologna to Arsenal. Like the 20% of that, I think, was divided of 50, even 50, 40, divided between Roma and Basel, because these were the clubs that sell clauses about the player. So hopefully we do something similar for looking in perspective, because if he gets better, like the potential he has, if he fulfills his potential, he can go to a big club in the future. Not disrespect to West Ham, but there's bigger clubs, of course, than WHU.
WHU. I love that. Do you know what it always reminds me is WBA. WBA. I love it, man. Whenever I see West Brom now in my head, I got WBA. Yeah, right. Okay, Paul, I can see you getting vexed, so I'm just going to address it. If this is how you believe the world works, and you're going to be this is football. You know that this doesn't mean shit. Contracts mean shit. Enzo Maresca's been given 5 years at Chelsea. He'll probably get 5 months. Do you know what I mean? They mean nothing. They mean nothing.
Yeah,
man.
It's getting like every job in the end, because every job there's people that working at for example a factory. They get an offer from another company. Okay, I'm gonna earn more there. Let's go there. And try to get an agreement to go out of the company, move to another company. In the end, for the players, let's remind that, of course, they have emotions and all that, but it's a job in the end for them,
Yeah. It's a short career as well, Andrea. He could choose to stay in the Championship, right, on 15 grand a week and get injured next season. And then what? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? All this has to be taken into consideration. Anyway, we'll move on from it now. Let's talk about replacements, because we're going to have to, because obviously we're going to move on. Are we looking specifically at wingers, lads, or have we gone with a different flex just in case? Like
I did wingers.
You just did wingers, yeah? Lockie?
I did wingers who are fairly fluid, who can play centrally as well.
Right.
Well, okay. 2 of them can. 1 of them is basically a winger, but can play either side as well.
Cool. Who wants to start us off? Who's first? Was it Lockie?
So I'll start, but I was going to talk about someone, wasn't I, before I actually did 3, because I want to talk about this player. I didn't do a report on him. I just think everyone knows quite a lot about him and who he is. And there's a lot of stuff about this guy, and that is Todd Cantwell.
It set tongues wagging on my tweets, I'll say that much. It was
yeah. There's a lot of opinion and stuff about Todd Cantwell, because he did an interview last year about his time at Norwich. And people take clips from it and say this and that. You have to watch the entire thing. There's a lot of context to everything he says. I think he'd be absolutely perfect. He's just handed a transfer request in at Rangers. Now, Farke fell out. Let's talk about that. So in this interview, it's on YouTube. I've forgotten the name. I apologise to the guys who did it, but it's a good interview. He talks about his time at Norwich, and he says a lot of good things about Daniel Farke and how he brought him through, how he gave him a chance, how he loved playing under him. He enjoyed it. He loved the time. He had a good relationship with him. He talked about that specifically. How he had a great relationship with Daniel Farke. What happened at the end? I believe there was some communication problems. There's some personal problems to Todd Cantwell. So he got dropped to the 23s. He felt disrespected by that. But what happened quickly after that, Daniel Farke got sacked. And Todd Cantwell remained in the under-23s when Dean Smith came in. So whatever happened, he stayed in there. And the new manager didn't want him either. So Todd Cantwell, in the interview, speaks about how he believes there was people upstairs that didn't like him.
I mean, I don't want to cast aspersions, but I think I remember something about a bird or something. I swear something's bad. I swear to God. Anyway.
Right, well, I don't know. He was talking about Stuart Webber.
It's like Zaha when he was with Moises' wife, but hey.
Maybe. So bad attitude. Again, a lot that sentiment makes no sense to me, I'll be honest, Sonny. I respect, but I just don't think it does. The guy had issues. Look, there was problems there. He thought the guys above the manager had problems with him, so he felt it was best to leave the club. Anything he says about Daniel Farke is fine. There's nothing bad about that. He talks about him respectfully. I think he's matured since then. He says that in this thing. He said he was immature. He did make mistakes. People didn't like him. And the fact is, look online, when anyone talks about him, it's very personal. It's a bit like Bamford in that sense. People don't like him for certain reasons, because of the way he looks or the way he speaks and stuff like that. That is there. Go online. It's everywhere. Look at the comments when he plays bad. Look what people are saying about him. It's about the way he is. So I don't like that.
The air too.
My
The
point
air
is,
too,
yeah, no one knows this stuff fully until it's, well, unless you know him. That's the facts. A lot of people say a lot of bad things about certain players, this and that. He would be perfect for the system. He had, for me anyway, he had a decent season last year at Rangers. He didn't want to stay there. There's a lot of, and by the way, there's a lot of people that want out of Rangers right now. It's not just him, for anyone says. There is other players that want to leave as well. That's not just him. And that's all online. You can see that. I think it's a perfect move for him. He's 26 now. He spoke about how he's matured. Look, there's probably a bit of an edge there. He backs himself like other players do because of the way he looks and the way he speaks. People think there's something wrong with that. I think it'd be perfect for us. I think if there is a problem with him and Farke, I think it'd be something a phone call could deal with. Yeah. I don't think it's that deep. From what he said, the main problem was with Dean Smith. That's where the big issue was from what he said. And he never said anything personal about Daniel Farke. Anything but respect. It was clearly an issue at the end. Daniel Farke got sacked. He remained in the 23s. The relationship with Norwich was severed. I'd take him in a heartbeat at Leeds United. He's a fluid player. He was really good for Daniel Farke in that promotion season. He can play the 10, he can play on the left. He's really good in build-up. I think it's perfect. If he's really serious about taking his career to the next level, which he spoke about, where's a better chance than a club that's going to the next level, hopefully? Look, if there is an issue with Daniel Farke, speak on the phone. I don't think it's that deep. I really don't. I think it's worse with Dean Smith and the club he was at. But yeah, that's all I'll say on Todd Cantwell before people lose their minds. all I'd say is if people have a judgment, go watch, just type in Todd Cantwell interview later on, and it's there. It's about an hour and a half, and he talks a lot about a lot of things, about how he was treated by certain people as well. So,
and I think Leeds helps player, to transform mentally in terms of getting tough, because you see every player that gets to Leeds, when you move to Leeds, either you adapt to the mentality or you fall, because Leeds fans pretend a lot. You see the meltdown, about friendlies in pre-season, you don't get that anywhere else in the world. You see people, commenting every day, every time. It's a unique club, in the end. Either you adopt to the pressure, to the kind of pressure, to the environment around you at Elland Road in terms of the ambience to the ground, in terms of hostile ground for the opponents, and you embrace it in terms of pushing you to play with more intensity because it's what Leeds fans demand, or you fall. So when you arrive to Leeds, you have to make that switch immediately. We've seen plenty of players in the past, for example, in the 90s, the older ones, in the chat will remind them, Thomas Brolin, he was a great player at Parma, in Italy, for Sweden, but he didn't have the switch, didn't make the switch mentally at Elland Road, didn't adapt. There's other players, who moved to Leeds. I remember when we signed Cameron Stewart and Jimmy Kebe, from Reading, Yeah, all those players, you either adapt, or if you think you're bigger than Leeds, the fans will hate you, absolutely hate you. If you don't make the switch, you fall. We've seen plenty of players that arrive with fanfare. Remember Noel Hunt too when we signed him. Top championship striker. He didn't adapt to the pressure, and it was one of the terrible season at Leeds. For him. So there's plenty of examples. Seth Johnson too, for example.
There is, mate. Right, let's go.
He fell out with Nanto as well, didn't he? Farke fell out with Nanto, and they made up pretty quick. So
yeah.
But anyway,
do you have a list, Lockie? Yeah, you have the list too.
I'll do it after my third. I'll just give
the
honorable mention side of it. Yeah, but the first one is ready.
He's
ready in his ear. Fabian Reese from Hertha Berlin plays in the Bundesliga 2. Now the thing about Fabian Reese is he's such a I don't know, but if I'm looking here, that's where you guys are. You're at this side right now, so I'm not looking the way. Don't worry. Okay. Fabian Reese is I know you know him as well, Andre. He's a very different style of winger. He's very big. He's very long. He's very strong.
I get told that I'm very long.
Okay.
Sorry.
Brilliant. Nice one. But anyway, so on that, as you can see, he had a really good season last year in Bundesliga 2. Really good season. He was probably, from what I saw anyway, and like I said, I'm a weirdo and I love this league. He was probably the best player in the league bar maybe Laszlo Benes. We can't get anymore. But yeah, a really good player. Like when you look at profiles of wingers, you think of small, diminutive, quick. Well, he is quick, but he's big and strong, kind of like Rutter in that sense, right? And Daniel Farke loves physicality. He likes players with physicality, but he's quick as well. He's really fast, and that's important. 9 goals and 14 assists. He's not just a goal scorer. He doesn't get assists. He's such a dangerous player. He was honestly a cheat code last season. You can look through the season here for Hertha Berlin and just the consistency in his goals and assists. You know what I mean? There's no period where he gets 5 and then nothing for 5 games. It's constant all the way through. The worst part was his start when he didn't do anything in the first 4 games. And after that, practically every other game is a goal or an assist, apart from when he got an infection. Yeah, I really like this player. He's such a cheat code at that level, and I genuinely think he would be in the Championship. I think he's not the typical profile because of his size, but you know the way. And I'm not comparing them. Let me just clarify. He's 26. Sonny, sorry, I always forget to mention the age. 26 years old, very experienced now. Played a lot of football in his career. Really improved last year. And I'm not comparing him to this player, but when you think of winger in terms of size and pace, you think of Bale, right? You know what I mean? That big, powerful winger. He suits that role for me. He's very different to most wingers. And if this works, has it gone to the other page? No.
No, we're still on Fabian Reese, yeah.
Yeah, it's him. I got the FBE thingy up. FBE ref.
Yeah.
He definitely needs to sort out that haircut before I can accept.
Yeah, he's got a mullet.
Just zoom in a little bit, Lockie, just a touch. So yeah, that's perfect, mate. Perfect.
See, here are his stats from last season. Wow. Look, yeah, there's a lot of good. Again, pass it. He's a winger. He likes to run with it. He's not a great passer, I'll be honest. But he's absolute powerhouse. That not only can he drive with the ball from wide, he can get in the box and score. He scored headers last year. He can score headers. He's got a shot on him, by the way, people, which I know we love and we need. Yeah. He's just an all-round big, powerful winger. I know a lot of these names on here are small technical players. How different is it to have this type of profile? We've got Jorginho Rutter. Why not add another one? He's obviously not as skilled as Jorginho Rutter, but yeah, you just watch him and you think, how's he a winger? But then everything he does suits it. Like a little man's brain with a big man's body. It's crazy. So yeah, a very solid player. Also be decent on defensive set pieces as well. He's a very smart player, very good defensively for me. Just destroy fullbacks in this league, and I'll quickly show it's not. I'm doing this wrong.
Just having a look as well here, like obviously signed a new contract on February of this year till 2028. There is BVB buzz on the 4th of June saying Borussia Dortmund target Hertha Berlin's Fabian Reese.
There you go.
Currently valued at 5 million. And that's like the latest news on him anyway. Yeah. Go on,
So that link it would be there, but he wouldn't be a starter for them by any means. He's not that good.
Course not,
he'd be a squad player or he'd get a few minutes, but he definitely isn't that good for me anyway at 26. No. But yeah, as you can see, I'll zoom in a little bit here. There we go with his heat map, just an absolute unit down that side. And honestly, lads, I just love the fact that he can shoot. He's good at 1-on-1s. He's got a lot of 1-on-1s. He's got headed this season. He's powerful. He's quick. Let's get forward. He can be a bit clumsy at times, but that's like Rutter can, he's got good feet, but he can be tries a bit too much at times. But we need these type of players in this league. Different profiles. Defenders can't deal with them for me. And as you can see, there's his heat map. And again, look at his strengths there. Penalty taking, apparently. Yeah, he takes them as well. Playmaking, high pressing, another aspect of his game. He likes to run, and he runs a lot, and he's a hard worker. And no outstanding weaknesses. Yeah, that's my first one.
Perfect, mate. Love that. I can't lie to you. It's a good one. It just needs to sort out that haircut. But other than that,
it looks like the photo that you have on X, on Twitter, with the fake mullet that you have on with that app, of footballers.
The old app. Yeah.
Do you want me to go one player, the 3 player, and then we do the list at the end? Because the other time I did the list at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Do the players jump straight in? Yeah.
Yeah. We'll jump in on the next player then. They asked. I had planned to bring him in, in terms of showing him. And this morning, someone after we were commenting on X said, "Oh, you should do this player." I said, "No way! You just mentioned him. He was in my list, you know." So let's go. Let's see if you see it. Here we go.
Yeah.
So we moved to the Netherlands, Eredivisie. This player, Osame Sahraoui. So of course you can see Norwegian with Moroccan passport, as you can see, Moroccan parents. You know, not very much tall. You know, 170 meters. Again, don't ask me to translate this to the 8 that you use in the AK because I'll never understand that. So you do the maths. I'll do the maths to you. Yeah.
Andrea, I have to tell you something.
Yeah.
He's just signed for Lille. That's a 1 minute
No,
ago.
no way.
Oh, really?
1 minute ago. Okay, let's move to another player. I called.
I didn't want to keep you going. Yeah, it's like,
1 minute ago. Bloody hell.
Oh,
Let's move to another
way.
one.
There
Don't
we
worry,
go.
don't worry.
On
I have
to the
plenty.
next.
I'll have plenty. You know.
Great choice, though.
You see,
Great
that's my effect. That's my effect, lads.
Yeah, exactly.
You see?
Yeah,
I mentioned one player. He goes to a club.
Yeah.
You see that?
They were just sat
Let's
there
move
and
to the
then
next one.
Leo went like that. Sign him. Andreas just mentioned him. Sign him now.
Quick, get him now.
So okay, let's move to another one. Okay, so
I'll check this one as
Osame.
well.
So I would say, no way, he was in my list. So probably the person that I talked to this morning on X
100%.
phoned Lille and said, sign him for actually. So okay, let's move to another one. We can pick the second one. Okay, easier. Okay, let me change the transfer market and all of that. Move to Spain now. We move to Spain. Let's check if he has not signed for a club. In the meantime,
Of course.
I put the player
Before
on.
you do
you know.
that, just on that, I did a number 10 video a few weeks ago, but I did it pre-planned. I did it for weeks before to prepare. Every player I had in that list left within a day of me releasing the video, so I had to redo it. So that was fun, yeah.
That's aura, lads. Not Calafiori auras. That's our aura, you know. That's what we do.
Before we do go any further, though, I've just been alerted to the news, and I don't know if this is actually, boys. Can you just check this for me first of all before you just
He moved to another club. The other one that I was going to mention.
No. I just need you to text someone's Twitter to make sure this is right of what's being said at 9:15. Oh, 9:15 p.m. August the 1st. Someone's on the wind up. Never mind. They're on the because it's not even 9:15 now. Ignore me. You nearly got me, Mr. Dodo. You're knobhead. Go back. Sorry. He just sent me a tweet to say Tiffany had just tweeted to say Ryan Kent is done. But yeah, Yeah, I'll show you. Look, this is what I've just received. Sorry for those that are asking what's going on. I've just received this from Mr. Dodo, and I was like, lads, you're going to have to check because I can't see. But this is what I received. But then I just checked the time. It's 9:15 p.m. in the future, so yeah. Also, Tiff, if you are watching me, please unblock me. I've done nothing wrong. I don't know why you've blocked me, bro. But anyway, go ahead, lads. Sorry.
By the way, I never liked Lee, you know, after what they did to Bielsa, They had a legal case with him, so that's the revenge after Bielsa made them pay, So I think this player is still at this club. He has not moved in the last 30 seconds. So let's move to this one. I think Lucky will really like him, this player. Okay, let's move on. Can you see that? Yeah.
Ooh, yes,
Yeah, also there's Saka talking here. Okay. Okay, moving to Spain. Javi Puado from Espanyol. He has not moved. Still at his club. I think he's also the captain there, First thing I underline is this. Contract expiring next summer, so he's out of contract. And I just checked, about if he was still at his club in the last 5 minutes, and he's refusing when the press asks him about his future to talk about his future. So we need to spend some money on him. But for me, he's a very reliable player. He's a leader, He's 26. He's the captain. When they got promoted, because Espanyol were in the second tier in Spain this season, he scored 2 goals in the final, in the second leg. They needed to score 2, and he scored both goals, So as you can see here, 3 goals. Basically in the final, 2 goals in the game that they needed to win. And it was everyone in that game. Because we'll look at his map too. He's a player that moves everywhere. He's an all-round player. He starts on the wing, but he also plays a lot in the central parts of the of the pitch, in terms of how he covers the space. He's a very all-round player. He can easily play, in the middle too. 24 games also in his career as a second striker. He can also play on the other side because he's very reliable and very good with both feet, So I think he'll be a player that will step into the game, into the type of football that we want to play very easily, honestly, because he has the mentality. People see Espanyol and the first thing they think about is Marc Roca, of course. He's a completely different player from Marc Roca, He also has one call-up for Spain, they say here, honestly. Let's check it because I think he was in the past, Yeah,
have they just been promoted as well? Might be.
Yeah, he had one. Just when De La Fuente became the manager of Spain, they did a lot of experimental friendlies, like with Lithuania. So that's why he played as a cap and one goal for Spain. Let's check the squad. Look at the squad back then. Zubimendi. They were all experimental players back then. Apart from Cucurella, drinks paella. Eat paella, drink Australian.
Even the way that he does it is just all wrong. And you know what? If he has a stinker this season, he's gonna get cooked.
I know,
big.
Him and Rodri for Gibraltar. When Rodri mentioned Gibraltar, and they said to him, "Why are you mentioning Gibraltar? You're playing in England." And he said, "I don't care. Opposition fans will absolutely rinse him. Every time in every ground this season because of that. But going back to Puado, let's move to so ref first. Can you still see that? Yeah.
Yep, can see it.
Okay. As you can see by the wages, it's not very much expensive. 7K a week. Somerville is earning 15K a week, so it's not much expensive, of course. Going back to the stats, as you can see, very, very good. Very, very good for me, especially the touches. The take-ons, because he's a player that plays on both sides of the pitch. Very good offensively, offensive-minded 1v1, but also a player with awareness. He knows where he is in terms of reading the game with the ball. He also has vision. Let's check for curiosity. This one, of course, when he plays in terms of midfielders and wingers, when he faces them, it's different. He's better, defensively. The touches are still good, The completion is still good, but when he goes against attacking midfielders and wingers, it's different. When he goes against midfielders, because of course, like I said, when he defends, he drops back a bit. So he's also a player that helps you on the defensive side of it. The stats get better, because he's taking all midfielders and defenders here. So it's better for me in that regard. If you want to see similar players, there you have it. Going down, as we can see, he's a product of Espanyol. Cantera, the youth team, very consistent, as you can see, rarely misses a game, very good stats, 12, 4, 7, 13, stayed there after he got promoted twice, so he also has the experience in terms of promotion, in terms of going up twice. So this is it in terms of FB ref. Let's move to SofaScore. It's what we are more interested about, As you can see, the heat map. Like I said, everywhere. He plays on the right, he plays on the left, goes central, gets into the area, especially because the two goals, if you see them, the two goals he scored against Real Oviedo, watched that game entirely on here in Italy. Both goals, I think, came when he stayed here in this area, got inside and finalized, those two goals. So, like I said, a player with a lot of awareness in terms of where he needs to be, reading the game, very good off the ball movement, very good in going inside because, like we said, going back to Transfermarkt, plays on the left, but he's right-footed, so he usually goes inside, in terms of going at the defender on the right and shoots. He's a very good shooter from outside. For a attacking midfielder / winger, very good, 13 goals, of course. Very reliable in terms of fitness and continuity and staying fit. Assist 2, 35 touches per game. 82% accurate, 92 in his own half and 73 in the opposition half, like we saw also on FBref, So I think he's a player that is capable of playing in many positions. He's not the best dribbler, of course, but he's a player that, if you look at the Norwich side, also is very comparable to Cantwell for me, in a certain sense. So if you're looking to replace Summerville, maybe putting Nyonto on the left, or Nyonto stays on the right, there you have a player that can play on both sides, can also play centrally. I can give you many solutions, like Aronson, for example. He's very similar in terms of reading the play, making the last pass, helping the midfield, because I think in possession, now we've seen that the three at the back, but in possession, you need especially another player helping in the middle, Ampadu. So Puado can do that. He can be the winger behind the striker, but he can also be the midfielder when we need to defend to help in the midfielders. So this is Javi Puado. I think we'll need to spend a bit, because on Transfermarkt is 8 million euros, 8 million. So we need to spend, but the player, I think, is worth it, and it's the good age for a move abroad for me, 26, Of course, we need to spend because he's a product of their academy. He's native of Barcelona, so that's the other side of it,
That's the thing, Andre, for me. Like with a lot of these players, they're at the age where if they do want to move to the Premier League, if that is a goal of theirs, they're probably best going to do it through a move like this, as opposed to a Premier League side buying them, maybe because of the profile isn't as big, their age is a bit older, stuff like that. So where's better place than a team that is the favourites to go up under new ownership, very rich ownership who want to spend a lot of money, are very ambitious, with a good squad. We're a big pull in that sense, and that's why I think a lot of these guys are ambitious from both that we've both done here. Very ambitious, in fact. Like we've just seen one of the guys gone to Lille, but at the end of the day, you've seen players come from them leagues that could play at that level. Look at Gyökeres, look at Hamer, look at Fanny Uwick, who could easily play at that level for me. The Championship is a good, especially if you're in a competitive side, it's a great league to increase your value and get to the Premier League. So, that's why I think it's good to be ambitious with these players.
Absolutely. And the fact that, like I said, I checked on Google, when they asked him about his future, he said, I'm not talking about in my future now. So if they want to get some money for him, because at the end, 26, if you don't move now, he probably stay at Espanyol for other 3-4 years, because it's his hometown, it's the club he grew up with, So if they want to get some cash, and they had just changed, I think, the ownership too. If they want to get some cash, it's the time for me. And we've seen, for example, Melamed, another protege of Loki, for example. He moved to another club now, and they capitalize on that now. So, and Melamed moved to a second-tier club, I think, Almeria, because they were relegated Almeria. Yeah, Loki. Yeah. So he's going to be a factor there, he's going to be a starter there. Because at Espanyol, he was, a rotation player. He was like the first one off the bench, Melamed.
Yeah.
And, he stayed in the second tier, though. They moved to La Liga, but he decided to move back to the second tier, Melamed, in order to grow again. I think, Puado, they'll fight for relegation, Espanyol. They need to stay up. So if he wants to move, you can see a project there. I'm 26. I moved to Leeds, 3-year contract, for example. If we get promoted, I'm a Premier League player next season. I'm 27. Right. It's the last big contract. I can renew him and I have the last big contract of my career, till I'm 30, for example. So that's the thinking behind this one for me.
Nice. I think it'd be difficult to do, obviously, with them just being promoted and stuff. But like you say, it's taking all them things into consideration. Sorry, I just
can I just say another thing, because I see also people mentioning Morgan Whittaker, Raksaki, of course, Jack Clark, for example. We talked about Cantwell. Of course, everyone wants them in terms of the three of us, because they are top players, in England, for example, in that position. But we're trying to talk about players that are not that obvious, in terms of, we try to bring you different players too that we can look at, because I think every one of you knows about Raksaki, about Jack Clark, because he was also at Leeds, of course. You know about, for example, Morgan Whittaker. We've seen him doing very, very well at Plymouth this season. So we're trying to bring you something different, in terms of players, Yeah,
and that's
it won't be fun otherwise. Yeah,
and we will touch on them English candidates at the end of the video, just to see out of them who would be the preferred pick. All this talk of 10 million as well, I don't know where, I've not seen that. I think it seems far too small, because if it was 10 million, I think a lot of people would have already gone, as you've said yourself, Gavin, 40 goals in the last 2 seasons at 10 million. It's a no-brainer, especially when you consider his age. I don't think it'll be as small as that, but who knows? Right, let's move on to the next player.
I said ambitious. I saw someone mention in the chat, someone like Pablo. Right, hear me out. Oh, I've made it too big there, Anna. I'm too excited. There we go.
Yeah.
Gharbi.
Ismael Gharbi. Now, so this guy was obviously plays for PSG. He was on loan last season in the Swiss League. He had a very good season in the Swiss League. I think something like, I don't remember the stats, but he got 12 goal involvements in like 30 games. I'll get them up in a minute. But he is, and again, look at his position here. This is the wrong league. Obviously, we won it in the Swiss League. There. So his role predominantly last year was as a 10. But for me, when I look at profiles of players, I'm looking at the way Cantwell plays. He can play wide, but there's a lot in central spaces. Elias Chair is a good comparison to this guy in certain things. He's that small, technical, wide player who looks and acts like a 10, if that makes sense, or vice versa. Can play either side for me. If you lose a Chris Summerville and you bring in a player like Ismael Gharbi, and then you have a front three behind the striker of Nonto on one side, him and Rutter, there's so much interchangeable ability there, and that's the key part for me. I'm getting players that can play more than one position, but really well. Obviously, Rutter, we know, can play either side and in the middle. Nonto can play either side. This guy can play the left or the middle. And they're very different type of players. Like Reese, completely opposite to him. Different profile, very small guy, as you can see. 20 years old as well, a lot younger. Now, you're thinking top talent player, had a really good season last year in the Swiss League for a 19-year-old. Why would he come to Leeds? Now, I'm seeing a lot of talk online that PSG don't want him. He's not part of their plans. Obviously, they have a ridiculous amount of talent there. There is talk of a loan. But the clubs I'm being seen linked with, again, are low to mid French league sides. Now, I think if you're Leeds United and you're looking for players and you're the favourites to go up and you look at the squad and you look at the manager, you look at the project, you're one season off the Premier League. That's the key pull that we have. It's proof. Look at these young players that have come to the Championship for 1 year, made it to the Premier League or made it to the top teams. You know, there's loads of them. Somerville is a great example. For me, I think he is a guy of that ilk who can make it big. But I think this would be an excellent step for him. Look at Carvalho, you know, there's loads of players like that who have come to the Championship, being ridiculous, and now intentions for top sides in Europe. I think he needs that move. I think his loan kind of went under the radar because of where it was, because it wasn't, you know, in the top tier side in Europe. So I'll get into his thing last year.
Here is one of your targets. You remember how, sorry, just to jump in, he's actually now gone on loan to Sheffield United as Hoiver. You know, we spoke about last week, obviously, before Bogle came in. So
yeah.
One to watch. One to watch next
season. But yeah, this is him from last year. As you can see, look, played both roles last year. 29 appearances last season, 6 goals, 6 assists as a 19-year-old. From predominantly that 10 role as a creator. There's honestly so much comparisons with the likes of, you think of the Buendia type characters, the Elias Chair types, even Pablo to an extent, them really small technical players who are just good anywhere you play them. You know, they can be a winger, they can be in the 10, they're smart players. This guy has a lovely finesse shot on him. He scored 2 or 3 goals from outside the box, just curling it around defenders. He can take set pieces, he can find little slide passes through gaps that we don't have. His ball control is really good. All things that we need in a player. This one would be difficult if it is a loan. The fact is that would increase his value, so it'd be a great loan for him. It'd start for me, definitely. I see no problem with that at all. He's a Spanish international. Well, he's Spanish. He's represented Spain at youth level at under-19s. So he's not really at the level where he's competing to play for the Spain national team. So 1 or 2 years of development, where's a better team for me? You look at Somerville, that's a great example of a player who's come here, developed in the Championship, and now is going to bigger things. Whether it's for 1 season on loan, or you get a loan to buy if you go to the Premier League. For me, you know, watching this guy, I'd absolutely love to see him. And like I said, the current links to him, he's not wanted by PSG at all. The current links to him are lower-end French sides that I've seen at the moment, unless something's changed in the last few days.
I'm just having a look there. They obvious like there's people in the chat like saying, why would he come? Like Lockie said right at the start, he was on loan in Switzerland, folks, at Stade Luçon.
With Bafundi.
It's not like a massive league, is it? And I think he has taken part in pre-season along with Ismael Gharbi and Chernadour. But based on the news, Lockie, I think like you've said. The last real,
I think, was it?
Yeah, Nice as well, but that was back in February. So like there's not any massive links there. Yeah, I agree.
I know Saint Etienne were in for him who've just been promoted. Like there's all right sides, but Kamara wanted Rennes last season, right? And he came to Leeds United in the Championship because he's one season off the Premier League, right? Didn't get it, went to Rennes, right? Gruev was playing consistently in the Bundesliga for a decent mid-table side in the Bundesliga. True. We took him. Yeah. We have pull because not only are we a big club, we're an ambitious club, we have a good squad, and we have plans to go to the Premier League. We are currently the favourites based on the squad we have and what we did last year to get promoted. You are 1 year off the Premier League. If these guys want to play in the Premier League and Premier League clubs don't want to sign you, is there a better way? Because not only is that, you're playing in a level where you will develop, you will get better. And if you don't make it at Leeds, and it is a loan, next season, because you will have a good season if he plays for us, right? Is that good of a player? Then you have options anywhere, like Somerville. That's a good example, right? Gyökeres, any of them. There's loads. So that's why he would. I'm not saying we will get him. I'm saying it'd be ambitious. There'd be people that want him, and he'd have to be up for that project. But you can look at so many players that have had one good season in the Championship and then gone on to bigger things. It's a good league for young talent. He is a young talent. So that's why I just think he'd be excellent for us. Like I said, some of these are more obvious, some are ambitious. I think it's good to have a mix. People are saying Rowe and all that. For me, there's just as less chance of them joining us than him. They'd cost more as well. They have ambitions to Premier League. They want to play in the top leagues. So we've got to be consistent with that. So that's my thoughts on him.
Yeah. And let's remind ourselves, like you said, out of contract in 2025 next season. Yeah, but true. There's also, the fact that look at Xavi Simons, for example. PSG absolutely do nothing good apart from Zaire Emery. Now they brought in Barcola from Lyon, but look at the other players that were products of the academy that were brought in, like Xavi Simons, by PSG. PSG don't know how to work with young players, I think. So there's no point for him to stay there because he won't have game time. He needs to move away. Because if I am the agent of a young player, now he's 20, he's not 18 anymore. It was like Inception, that part, all the screens. If you stay at PSG, you won't play. Look at Xavi Simons. His career was stopped basically by PSG. He had to move back to the Netherlands, to PSV, and now to RB Leipzig. And now he's back at PSG, and he wants to go back to RB Leipzig because he knows that he's not getting game time there. So far, because the last time they didn't give him game time. So there's no point for young players to stay at PSG. Either you're great, like Zaire Emery, for example, or you don't get, game time. So I think he's viable, more viable than many others,
Yeah, no, I think it's a great shout. And like you say, it's easy to sit here and say, oh, let's get Clark, or even in some cases, wild claims of players in England that are never going to come here. But, or we can...
Just going to say, Joe, on that, like the Swedish league is similar level in terms of ranking to the Championship. So anyone that does all right in that league compared to the Championship is similar. The Swiss, sorry. So, look, if people think this is difficult and why would he come here? Why would Jack Clark? Why would Johnny Rowe? Why would any of them players? They're just as good. So,
100%. 100%, mate. And like Jack said, we have to be really, exactly. Yeah. And that's what we are. Right, Andre, you're up next, my man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a long shout, but if we have the money, if we can guarantee game time in terms of instant impact, this one, it was a wonder kid. He still has to find the right place because after he got his move, he needed a loan back to his homeland. So I think he's gonna be a long shout because this one will be alone in case if this happens. He's also a doppelganger of the Leeds content creator Ellis Platten. Honestly, to be fair, if you look at his face, So I'm talking about.
Here we go.
Andreas Schjelderup.
Ah.
He was very, very big in terms of talks, push years ago, Now he's 20. When he was 16, 17, he was like the next wonder kid, But, just won.
I'm not getting Ellis Platten, by the way. I can't lie to you.
No, he looks like him. Look at it. Look at this. A little bit, If you look at this, a little bit, he looks like him.
Maybe,
a little bit.
Maybe.
No, his real doppelganger is Matthias Svanberg of Wolfsburg for me. By the way,
looks more like you, Andre, with hair. To be fair.
No, he's blonde, mate. He's blonde and he has blue
style,
eyes.
The smile. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, but by the way, if you look at him now, very, very much talked about. Just one cap for Norway at 20. And there's also the fact that he needed to move back to North Zealand, when he was before. He moved to Benfica because he's now at Benfica, of course. He has a long contract, 2028. So let's look at last season, especially, so we can see also where he plays. Another versatile player, mainly on the left. Also can play, as a center forward, like in that, let's say, Gellert role behind the strike. We played Gellert there up for a few games, But as you can see, the main place where he plays is the left wing. But he can also play in other parts, but he's an offensive player. He's very different from Puado, for example. So looking at his career, he's a product of the great academy. If there's some Scandinavians from Danish people, they will confirm this. North Zealand has a great academy. Not all the players have great careers. For example, Emre Mor, the Turkish player, was very talked about, then he didn't have the career everyone expected him to have. He's now, I think, at Fenerbahce with Mourinho. So product of North Zealand, then started to play very young. 7 appearances, 3 goals, 19 appearances, 3 goals and 1 assist, 10 appearances, 1 goal. Then he moved to Benfica, first in the second team. Then he got just 1 appearances just look at this, 1 minute. They didn't gave him space. They didn't give him the opportunity. Yeah, so last season, he needed to play. He moved back to North Zealand, North Zealand, basically, I have the stats here, so very quickly. 38 appearances, a total of 38 appearances, and 10 goals, basically, and 11 assists, He's very similar in the way they play. I read an article about this too, and I can see the comparison, honestly. Very similar to Kvaratskhelia, for example. So he's a player that gets the 1v1 situation every time he can, Gets the 1v1 situation every time he can, Last season, let's do the same trick as Loki, 2023, 2024. Mainly played here, of course. If you can see, there's the consistency, and he played every game in the Europa Conference League with North Zealand. Played also with the under-21s of Norway, because he's still under 21, sorry. So, as you can see, he found consistency, what he needed. He got game time. The game time that Benfica didn't give him, because they acquired him for, I think, also a big fee. Let's check the fee too. Let's go like this. Okay.
Apparently, he's got £100 million release clause, by the way.
Yeah. So it will be alone, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Like you can see here, £100 million release clause, 20% sell-on clause. But if they sent him out on loan last season to the Danish league, why can they send him out on loan again this season? Because he's 20 and needs to play to the championship. So they acquired him basically for 9 million euros. Then he moved to North Zealand, 2.5 million euros loan fee. Then he moved back to Benfica. And he got his first cap in June for Norway. So as you can see, Just one cap at 20 years of age, but he's getting there finally. Maybe a little bit late than expected, but he's getting there,
He could, like, looking at it, because obviously I'm just like searching the names. I don't know about him, but it looks at this moment in time a bit like a failed wonder kid, because obviously he was linked to Liverpool and Arsenal a few years back. Chose Benfica, hasn't played, has then had to get games, and like you say, sort of like redefine himself. I think, do you know, like, I look at like Odegaard in a little bit like that, like when he went to, when he went to Madrid, when he did, and then obviously, did he go Sociedad or something like that?
Sociedad,
and now obviously with
Herven,
yeah,
with
Eredivisie.
He played Hervenveen, Eredivisie.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it.
And we see him now, and he's unreal, isn't he?
Stepping back to go forward.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also other good players here in this squad. Donum from from Norway here. Then you have Bob, another one that we talked about. Pedersen too. So let's move to this one. Let's move to the Danish league. Okay, as you can see, he stays there. He's very. When we look at the ratings too, look at that attacking player. As you can see, but I said that, he's very different from Puado. This is an offensive-minded player, playing less runs a lot, Finally, consistency. They put consistency, and that's what he needs, because how do you get consistency? Playing every week in and week out. The thing that didn't happen for him at Benfica, now he's back there, and they play in the European competitions, and they just lost Di Maria because Di Maria is a free agent now. They will bring in another top player in his place. So he will be a reserve, a backup again. He needs to play again. So as you can see, let's look at the percentages here. Passing, 82% correct. It's just 7 passes per game in his own half. So as I said, he stays up.
Yeah.
Wide on the left, then gets inside. In that regard, you can have the comparison with Somerville. He stays one on the left, doesn't go back on defense, gets the 1v1 situation, goes inside, can also go outside, good with both feet. So if you want a dribbler, if you want a player capable of getting the 1v1, getting sharpness to the team, there you have it. But it will be alone, of course, lads. So there's also this other part. And I think it would be good. I won't rule out alone, honestly, if it helps the team. Because then you save, you invest money in other positions. You bring a top player, because I think he will light the league up. Yeah, light the league up, And honestly, you get a wonder kid, failed wonder kid, but he's getting there now. Like Odegaard. Odegaard is a very good comparison here, I think. I was looking for the dribbling, but what is the dribbling here? I can find it.
Attacking, I think, mate.
Yeah. Total duels won, 50%, 52. Let's look also at the heat map again, I think he...
Very offensive.
Yeah, very offensive. If you look at also the games, let's look at previous games too, As you can see, 2 assists, 1 penalty. Now 2 goals, 1 penalty, 2 assists, 1 goal, 2 assists, 1 goal. He's a player that is getting consistency in Norway under 21 against the Netherlands. Goal. So he's a player that had a very good season, and I think he's not ready for Benfica yet. Again, assist, goal, in a friendly, of course, here. He's a player that is not ready yet for Benfica to stay there. So I think if he stays there, he will be reserved. He won't get much game time. So what he needs now is moving to another club, making another step higher than the Danish league. He's 20. A club challenging for promotion in England, where he can get game time, when he can, have the freedom to be the perfect replacement for Somerville, because he's very similar to Somerville. And just play the way he can play, honestly, to be fair. As you can see, the last game of Benfica, a friendly against Almeria, and Melamed score, lucky, against Benfica.
All right,
as you can see here, he didn't start the game. They play with Gouveia, Barreiro, and Neres.
Oh, David Neres.
Yeah. So he's playing in preseason, but as you can see, he didn't play.
Yeah.
He's involved in preseason, sorry. Sometimes the Italian kicks in, He's involved, but he isn't playing because they also have Joe Mario, Prestiani, another great player for me. Yannick Best, another player that Lockie mentioned last season in the scouting reports.
Yeah.
Remember when he was at Heidenheim? So yeah, also I mentioned Prestiani when he was at Palace. Those players keep coming back. It's like the memories, they keep coming back. So yeah, overall I think he is a very different player from the first one I mentioned, but very direct when everyone situations, very dynamic. Yeah.
Nice one, mate. Another good name mentioned.
My final one.
Let's there could be competition for his signature, but definitely. Here we go.
So this one's my little gem. Yeah, I mentioned this guy for a while now.
Oh, he even looks like Somerville, man.
Yeah, like him as
Same
well,
agent
Joe.
too. Same agent too.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Very similar player. Very similar. It's what caught my eye. I can't lie. Not as good yet. Let me clarify. He's not as good as Somerville, or we wouldn't be getting him. But he's a very good player. I don't know how to say his first name, Andre. Tell me how to do it so I don't get it wrong.
Sonchi?
That's what I'd say.
Sonche. Hansen.
Sonche. Hansen, yeah.
Plays wide on the wing, Hansen.
Yeah. It's great. There's even a song already. Sonche
Yeah.
Hansen, obviously plays for NEC in the Eredivisie, valued at 3 million. I think he did extend his contract midway through last year, but that's just to increase his value because it was going to run out. One thing that is key about this guy and his path, he used to play for the Ajax-U side, came through the Ajax-U side. And obviously we know the Ajax-U side, one of the best in the world. They harbour a lot of talent. A lot of them don't make it to where they need to. There's a lot of competition. He is a right winger, can play left side. Trust me, he can play there just as comfortable. But then if he is the right winger and you've got none on the left, that is ridiculous. If you just play left, that's fine as well. He can play the side, trust me. So yeah, played predominantly on the right though last season. As you can see, actually played more on the left last season. There you go. Eredivisie last year, 33 appearances, 6 goals, 6 assists in a good league. So 12 goal involvements as a winger in an all right side, in a decent league. He is the caliber of player for me that some of the other guys I've said are probably more expensive, more ambitious. This one is kind of that. You look at Van Uwijk level type player where he had a good season in the Eredivisie, obviously as a right back, but had a good season in the Eredivisie. Kind of went under the radar because he wasn't at one of the top sides. Signed for Coventry. This is that profile for me. This is the level that he is. I genuinely believe that. You see last season, played predominantly. Had a good end to the season as well, it must be said. Definitely inconsistencies and a bit of rawness there to him. There is. But in terms of the player and the profile, he is a lot like Somerville. I can't lie. He's similar height. He's literally the same height as a small guy. The way he plays, he's quick, diminutive. He loves to cut inside and shoot. He has that. One thing I would say about him, I'd say he's a little more active in terms of moving around the pitch. He doesn't stick to position. He is quite rogue. He will dribble, drive centrally, he'll look around. He's not one that's just going to sit out wide. He will go into the striker. He has to. He'll do anything. He likes to play. He loves to play football. He's that type of player. And honestly, I was watching another player, a young Japanese winger, at this current side for if we got promoted to the Premier League. And this guy caught my eye when I was watching. And then since then, I've been watching more, and I just really like him. He is my number one, I'll be honest. I think he's doable. I think he's gettable. He's my number one target if I was the recruitment. But I'll go on to his stats from last year, his heat map. And his heat map is his thing. And look at the progressive side of it and the dribbling side of it. Who does that remind you of? And we have to remember the Eredivisie is a higher level generally than the Championship. Of course, there's top talent in the Championship. There also is in the Eredivisie as well. A lot of them come to the Championship. A lot of them go to the Premier League. But this guy, he's I think he's gone under the radar a little bit. There's a few wingers in the Eredivisie last season that were really good, and there was few that were all right, had decent seasons. I think he fits that. He didn't come out as one of the best wingers in the league. There's a little bit of inconsistency there, but as a profile, as a replacement to Somerville, I think he's perfect. I can't lie, lads. I think he is exactly what we need. If we're playing the similar way and we're relying on a guy that is similar to Somerville, I mean, he's Dutch, he's a winger.
Do you know?
Literally the same age.
Mad thing is, like, having a look.
If you cut the top of the head off there, I mean, from there down.
Yeah. Looking at the looking at the news as well, it's almost similar to the last name as well, because this guy back in 2020 was linked with Manchester City, Inter Milan, calling him a wonder kid. 17-year-old Ajax and Holland wonder kid, Sonny Hansen. So Man City have, back in 2020, 6 million transfer rate. So for whatever reason, that deal obviously didn't happen. And Inter were linked as well. So yeah, definitely want to look at.
He has had inconsistencies during his career. He's not had, until this year for me, he hasn't had a really good season. He found it difficult. I'm assuming with all that pressure, like you see with young players, labelled wonder kids. Like I said, he was at Ajax. He was tearing it up for the youth side in Ajax. He never broke through there. He went on a few moves, but he was really good last year. Of course, Atlanta Cafe does have inconsistencies in there, but he's a really high ceiling. And out of all my players, I'd argue he has the highest, probably similar to the previous guy, actually. But like Somerville, in that sense, kind of broke through a little later than we probably expected when we brought him when we went up. Took a year extra in the 21s to develop. I just see him coming into the side, getting the numbers, just destroying fullbacks. He's such a direct player, loves to dribble, loves to attack. He's skillful. Honestly, I know you made the joke. He is a lot similar to Somerville in the way he plays. Very similar. Not as polished yet, but he'd be my number one.
Somerville regen.
Yeah, like on
same
FIFA.
age.
Yeah, definitely.
But and just look at his heat map there. He likes to go everywhere. Like I said, he's very active on the ball. I love that.
Nice. Is there one more?
Yeah, the final
Andrea?
one for me.
Yeah,
I think now he's up. Yeah.
For those that have put, just to jump in, those that have put super chats, I'm aware of them, folks. We'll do them after Andrea's done his name. Okay, folks.
Yeah. The final one is here. Many people know him, I think. Dapo.
Oh yeah, Bolton.
Of course, played at Bolton. Yeah, absolutely. I think it was West Ham before. Yeah, in terms of academy, maybe. Yeah, let's check it. But yeah, I think the contract here there's no length specified, but I've checked some sources and is like 2026, 2026, 2027. But as you can see, 26 years of age. They got promoted again to the Bundesliga after a very long time, because the last time St. Pauli were in the Bundesliga was the 2010-2011 season. But yeah, I think, if you go to them with the money, they sell, honestly. And it's more viable for me. Yeah, okay, you can stay in the Bundesliga. You can try to stay up to avoid relegation with St. Pauli. But I think if you give to those players a project, like 3 years contract, like I said before with Puado, I think it's better for them to move to a club in the Championship, a club that has already a good squad, challenging you for promotion, and next season you're not staying in the Bundesliga trying to avoid relegation, but you're in the Premier League. And we know that in the Premier League, the 49ers can do business, because right now we are really penalized. You are really, we have difficulties in terms of the transfer market because it was monumental for us in order to retain certain players like Summerville, like Archie, especially like Nyonto, for example. The top players that we have, all the players with more, value. It was monumental to get to the Premier League, and we didn't. So sales needed to happen because of FFP and PSI, Archie Gray, and players that want to leave because, of course, we read before from Florian Plettenberg, the German journalist from Sky Germany, that there's no agreement yet, the last time we checked, with Somerville, but he's already there and he already did this medical, They're still dealing. So, but he went there because he wants to go to the Premier League in the end because of the things that we said before, low wage compared to the value. He won't sign a new contract because would you sign a new contract in terms like the things that we already said before, by the way, and let's not go back there. So I think Afolayan is a player that, being born in London, of course, if he has the opportunity to go back to England in terms of a different league, because the last time he was in England was in League One with Bolton, and he did very well with Bolton in League One. And I was really surprised to see, like, it happened with other players like Jackson Irving. There's many players that played in the Championship or League One that moved to, for example, Lee Buchanan. When he was at Derby County, they moved to Werder Bremen. Oliver Burke. The Germans in the lower leagues, like the Zweite Bundesliga or the Dritte Liga, they watch the English lower leagues. In terms of the EFL. I mean,
my man started off at Solihull Motors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in the National League.
National
before.
League,
Yeah, mad.
Then he moved to the academy of West Ham, Oldham Athletic, Mansfield Town. Then, of course, back to the academy of West Ham. Then he moved to Bolton, and then he went there on a permanent. I think, as you can see, very, very good.
Racksacking numbers in League One.
Yeah, exactly. Then he moved. Then in January, moved from League One, Bolton, the Zweite Bundesliga, the second tier. 16 appearances, 3 goals and 2 assists. Last season, when they got promoted, 31 appearances, 9 goals and 3 assists. 10 goals because also 1 in the cup. Versatile player. 63 games in his career as a left winger, 40 as a right winger, and now he's also getting used to the centre forward position. 27 also an attacking midfielder, number 10. So if we go back to the last season when St. Pauli got promoted to the Bundesliga, let's see. Played mainly on the right, but he can also play on the left. Like we said, very challenging player in terms of how he occupies his space. In a certain way, reminds me of Dan James, the way he runs, the way he gives you width. He gives width to the team. It also, length to the team because he stays up. He also returns on defense because he's a player that, he's, like they say, I don't know if it's the right term, a workhorse, he works a lot for the team. So he stays up, gets forward. You can change the side and give him the long ball for the run, It's, of course, it's not like him, but you remember what Jen James, does and what Rafinha used to do, in terms of giving width to the team, and also giving length, depth, because Rafinha, the first thing when we counter-attack was trying to get him behind, Ryan does that too for me. Does that too. And as you can see, last season when they got promoted, played mainly as the right winger, but then, of course, switched to the left too, plays as a centre forward. Now the manager of St. Pauli, Ursula, moved to Brighton. Let's remember this too. In place of the Derby, these are the stats. Continuity was vital in their campaign to get to the Bundesliga. Moving to the heat map, right, left, very good ratings. To 26 years of age again, English, Nigerian English, both passports. So if he has the chance to move to a top English club with an intent to go back to the Premier League, to establish again the club in the Premier League, I think if you go knock into them with a good offer, they will accept for me. And let's remind also that we went to Germany in pre-season. Of course, it doesn't mean nothing, but if we get players from abroad, for me, we get players from Germany, because we've seen it Falke doing this before, because Falke knows the German leagues. There's the world that talks about Ljubicic, not the one that we mentioned in the scouting reports, but his brother, Dejan Ljubicic from Köln, We played against German teams, Hannover, Schalke, and Ulvier. Those clubs, Schalke 04. If Falke sold good players there, I think there's a chance too, because they stayed there, but also I'm sure they watch also other friendly or other teams, because definitely. they were shown on German TV, definitely, and they know the league. They were there, with Gladbach. But by the way, as you can see, right winger, very versatile for me, honestly. 9 goals in the league. From outside the box, 8 goals, 1 goal from outside and 8 inside. So he's a player that gets inside and shoots, as you can see. Right foot goals, 8. 1 header, 3 assists. Big chances created, 6. passes, very good passer. So usually the wingers, when you see passes, good passes, is the fact that they go back to get the ball, they pass the ball to an attacking midfielder, and then they sprint in behind, trying to create the advantage with their move off the ball. That's it.
Great stuff.
These are the dribbles. The cards, of course. I want to see also the Bolton one, The last time he was in League One. The last time he was in a full season. As I said, he gets back on defense,
Yeah.
And he's a player that I think he has unfinished business too, because he was doing great in League One. No Championship side tried to sign him. He had to move to the second tier, yes, but not the English second tier, the German second tier, because no English club signed him. He has unfinished business in his country. So in the end, every English player that plays abroad, apart from Bellingham probably, if he has the opportunity to go to have a great offer from an English club, moves back to an English club. For me, that's what I think, honestly. So this is Afolayan. This is the last one. And, a player that proved that he can do it in Germany. Can he do it in England? I think he's ready, because he was doing great in English football. I think he was a player already ready to move to the English second tier. It didn't happen. He moved to the German Zweite Bundesliga. Now he's in the Bundesliga. If you make a good offer, I think it will come. But after this, we'll see also other names. So I'm finished with this one. Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, Andrea. And another in-depth scouting report. Quite an insight it is. I do just want to quickly go to some super chats now. Right, 1 second. BMG, because there's no need for rudeness. If you don't want to be here, move on. You don't have to comment.
Liam Cooper, if you want to be here.
Yeah. Like, you don't even have to comment. Like, it's rude. It's rude. And a lot of people
just do something else on your evening.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people have a lot of respect for the lads. So
if he wants to comment, he's entitled to
no,
comment,
no, but
honestly,
it still doesn't make it okay.
It doesn't. I don't worry, honestly. I don't care.
No, I know you don't.
Wants to comment, but you can say. And the end, if I watch a program on TV on Netflix, if I don't like it, I change the channel. No worry about that.
Yeah,
honestly,
exactly.
mate.
That's what I mean. I don't sit there. I don't start ringing my horse. Well, I don't speak to the dog, but I don't ring my pals and go, I tell you, this program's shit. I hate it.
No, but I get.
They'll do, Joe. They'll go, turn it off.
Yeah, true.
No, I get that these things are not for everyone because they're long, they're detailed. Yeah. They can get boring. Yes, they can get boring because we're talking in depth, And this is not in depth, lads. This is only the part that we show you. Because otherwise we're going for about 2 hours, and that's not what we want. Yeah. I get that it can get boring. I get criticism. If there's constructive criticism, I accept it, honestly. If you say it's boring, the only thing I can say to you is, if it's getting boring, don't watch it, mate. Go and watch something else. There's the Olympics. Go watch the athletics. If you want. Hopefully Jacobs and the Italians win. But he's also entitled to say it's boring. But the only thing I can say, if it's getting boring, the thing that I do usually is change the channel. Mate. That's the only thing I can suggest.
Oh, love that. Love that. Big up. Right, let's get to some super chats before we go to the long list. So I'd go for Sammy Ento. I think he's a top player for me. To be honest, what I will say on, in my opinion anyway, Sammy Ento spent time on loan at West Brom, spent time on loan at Ipswich, and rid bench on both occasions. He's not coming into Leeds United to be a starter, and Leeds United need to look at players above Sammy Ento. I'd have taken him in January, 100%, said it at the time. Not now. Not for me, because he's just going to be riding bench. So I don't see it.
Would be a great bench option.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Danny Cook says, really hope Nonto stays with his good pre-season. He could do what Somerville did last year. Rutter on the right, Joseph up top, boom. I agree with you. And I think this is what we need to be selling to Willie Nonto. Look, don't leave. Give us a season at left wing, like Somerville. And next year, bam. You're either going to be a Premier League player or we're going to be able. We'll sell you. You know what I mean? Like we have done for Cree. That's what I would say on that. I hope we can keep him. What I don't want to do is get more replacements. I want us to replace Cree and then get the left back, get the 8, and that's that. And then we can be happy with some continuity. Farker's first touch says, do you think the 49ers could dip into the... I don't want to be too disrespectful, but I think the MLS is pish. Lads, do you have any thoughts on the MLS and these two players, Pedro de la Vega or Santiago Rodriguez?
I don't know them.
De la Vega was at the Olympics the last time, I think. Not this one, but the last time. But yeah, I think he's MLS. I don't rate it, honestly. I'm sorry. There's good players there, but yeah.
South American talent in the MLS, though, there is.
Almada.
Definitely is. Yeah, he's really good talent. But yeah, generally, it's a hard level to compare. Do you know what I mean? It's very, very different as well to the Championship.
Yeah. I agree. Big up, Jack. Big up to everyone in the chat as well. Right, okay. Do you want to just quickly run through your long list, or do you want to do that? Yeah? Let's do it then, quickly.
Yeah.
Not quickly, but let's quickly go.
I'll just show it. I'll show mine. And then if anyone wants to read the name, just screenshot it, obviously, or take a picture, and then feel free, because I'm not going to go through them all. I don't have a thingy this week, unfortunately. What's it called?
Sorry, let me just... Dudes on the panel, maybe, but I don't think either will start, to be honest, Elmy. Go on, Lockie, sorry.
I've not got a spreadsheet setting up time, so this is my dyslexic colour coding scheme I go through.
Sarmiento's on the list?
Yeah, he is, but it's a 2.5, he's not a 3. Three are the peak, 2.5s are all right, anywhere under 2, probably not ready. But yeah, obviously, see the L's are the loans as well, with the loans next to him. So you've got Raksaki there. I can actually think. Raksaki. Carlos Forbes, we had him on the scout report last year. Obviously, was Man City, youth product, went to Ajax. Had a bad season there in terms of what they expected. Fans at this current time don't like him. I've looked online. They don't rate the player. It'd be a great loan option for him, honestly. Yeah, a guy, like you said, playing England, one season off the Premier League, stuff like that. Ben Doak from Liverpool is an interesting one. But the only reason I didn't say him, and I have given him a 2, is because I've not seen personally so much of him. Only maybe, I think he came on in the Europa League, was it? And he looked really good. But I haven't seen so much. But he'd be one that I think might go on loan this season. Mikey Johnson, I'd like, but I think he's saying at Celtic he's doing well pre-season for them. There's some talent in there if anyone wants to pause it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he was very good, wasn't he? But ones that missed out, obviously, you've got Todd Cantwell there, Raksaki there. David Brooks is always an interesting one. What's he going to do? Will he get into the Bournemouth side this year? You know, your guy there, Andre, who you mentioned in the thing. I'm not going to try to say his name because I'll mess it up. Prestiani.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and then obviously you've got the Fabian Reese. You've got, like I said, the red ones and the orange are probably not going to happen just based on, as you can see, all the Championship ones. Liam Miller is agreeing, by the way, people, if anyone's interested. But yeah, that's my name. Anyone wants to screenshot all of them and have a look for yourselves, feel free.
Love that. Enjoy your evening and screenshot that and do it.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to screenshot it, you know.
Boom.
Okay. More zoom? Yeah. Or it's fine.
Just a little bit more.
Oh, it's not working. Oh. No, I think it's the final one probably.
There, yeah, that's fine. That's
fine, yeah. So, yeah, like the last time I divided them into, by country. So, Da Cunha, Banda, very good Da Cunha lads. Very versatile. Played in Serbia with Como, 7 goals, 6 assists, Very, very versatile player. Very similar to, can also play as a 10. So, yeah, I can be compared to Cantwell, in terms of how he plays. Then other different players, Banda, Brecalo used to be very good back in the days, but in the last few seasons he didn't have much game time. He went on loan to Hajduk Split, so I think he can be also a reliable player. Man, very, very good. Played with Romania, the Euros. He's at Parma. His agent is trying to negotiate a longer contract with a lot of money, but if negotiations stall, I think he can be very, very good for English football. Spain, Puado, we tweeted him before. Our friend was going to by the way.
I was wondering if it were him. Sergi Canos.
Sergi Canos, yeah, 27. That's, I think he just had 2 goals and 2 assists in 31 appearances for Valencia. So I think he hasn't
We'll see him.
really worked out for him, honestly. So very low, cheap if you want an option. He knows the championship. So if you want one,
We'll see him
Collado
on Saturday, won't we?
Yeah, let's try to bring him in on Saturday. I think in the championship level is reliable. At championship level is
I
reliable.
couldn't deal with that. I couldn't deal with that, man.
I remember the picture now. Yeah,
I couldn't deal with him, man.
yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a picture of me at Ellen Road like that. Fuck off. I remember. Yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah. Then Collado, he went on loan. He went on loan to the Saudi League last season. I think he needs to establish himself. He's back at Betis now with Llorente. Then if you want a loan option, Aduares from Athletic Bilbao. There's Alvaro Geló, Berenguer, Nico Williams. They brought in a new player, of course, in Geló because Muniain has left. So you won't have probably, there's also Unai Gomez. Plenty of good players at Athletic Bilbao. So if you want to loan him out, good option. Another good option on loan for me, Brian Zaragoza. 22, of course, very good value, but loan. Split the season between Granada and Bayern. Then you have Jakob Brun-Larsen, who was at Burnley last season. 6-7 goals at Burnley in the Premier League. His contract is running out. So if you want a player with a good age, already played in English football, I think also this one could be good for a permanent. Other options for a loan, Baoya from Eintracht Frankfurt, 19 years of age. Just 8 appearances from January at Eintracht. He played in League 2 before, 5 goals and 2 assists for Angers. Then you have another good player for a permanent for me, Kaminski, but you need to spend more money. Yeah, from Wolfsburg. Had an up and down season last season. There's also competition in his place. Then you have loan option again or permanent because his contract is running out. So more of a permanent, not running out. Sorry, of course, option for a permanent. Also a loan too can be an option. Farid Alidour, 23 years of age. He was at Cologne last season in the Bundesliga. They got relegated, but he was good. Now back at Eintracht. Vidovic, very good for Dinamo Zagreb last season. His contract is running out. 20 years of age at Bayern Munich, so this one could be a permanent in the end. 9 goals and 2 assists at Dinamo Zagreb. Another good option for a loan, Duranville, very good. Yeah. Nuri Sahin, the new manager of Borussia, said he needs to improve. Just 2 appearances last season. He's 18 years old, of course. So very, very young, but very, very good, like Bino Gittens. Then we have Afolayan, Reese, who Lucky mentioned. Dompe, more experienced one, Hamburg. Palko Dardai, very similar to Reese. Hertha BSC plays on the other side. Then, of course, Carlos Forbes, like Loki. Sano, like Loki. Bramberg, the border from Alkmaar. This Norwegian one, Edvardsen, Go Ahead Eagles. Roth, very good, but you need to spend a lot of money compared to the others. But if we have the money to spend, this could be a good way to spend it because it's out of contract. Sonny Hansen, again, like Loki. Taylor Booth, American, good player for me. A more experienced one, Araslin from Sparta Prague. Look at the stats here if you want. Oh, yeah. Jurasek, another good one, 20 years of age. Again, need to spend more here because his contract runs in 2027. Our Scandinavian friends will know Nanasi, Hungarian-Swedish player at Malmo. 2025 again, very, very good. Look at his stats, 2024 season because you know that they play from the spring to the winter in Scandinavia. So far the season had started in March, I think. 6 goals and 9 assists. He had 12 goals and 9 assists. So he has already equaled the assist of last season, basically, in less games. Then Sheldrup, we talked about him. In England, Bob, very difficult to get a loan, but if there's a little hope, let's try. But then you have Raksaki, of course. Casey McAteer, his contract run out. I think he's a good player. Undervalued, honestly, at Leicester. Jack Clark, Jonathan Rao, of course. Rao. Anor Sigurdsson at Blackburn. I think he's reliable. Contract running out. Borja Sainz, I think he's very criticized. Unfairly, good player. Gives you sharpness. Whittaker, 20 goals and an assist last season. Of course, he's one of the big names in the championship market. Then going towards the end, Luis Palma from Celtic, 2028. Very good player, like Loki's saying, of course. 10 goals, 10 assists. Very dynamic. Good attitude. Is very in your face. Then another very good one, Michal Škoraš, was at the Euros with Poland, 24. Didn't play much with Club Brugge in terms of starting. He played a lot of games, but from the bench. So if he wants to play more, this is the option. Faizulayev, I saw this player at the Olympics, honestly, with Uzbekistan. CSK Moscow, 20 years of age, very, very good. Very, very good. This player can go places, honestly. So, but yeah, before anyone else gets him, the problem is ethical here because you have to deal with a Russian club. But we know that's, when you're spending money to Russian clubs, so far it's not much ethical in terms of looking at the current geopolitical situation. Then you have Marko Pasalic, not the Matt Marko. Rijeka, very good season. Was at the Euros with the Croatian and Liam Miller that Loki already.
That's the one we're going to get.
Exactly, that's the one we're going to get permanent too. So if you wanted to look at these names, these are the names that we gave you in the extended list.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't have my Andreas put me to shame. I didn't do my spreadsheet this week.
No worries.
Can you just go back to the English names for me, Andrea?
Yeah, no worries.
And then just zoom in on them because I just want to finish up. Just chatting about the EFL targets.
Okay, it's working now. Ooh. Okay. Let's try.
So just looking at obviously Jack Clark, Johnny Rowe, Morgan Whittaker, Raksaki. Do you think it's likely that we'll operate in this market as opposed to on the continent, or because I think a lot of the players that we probably a lot of people keep mentioning are these names. I think the thing that worries me with Raksaki, obviously Southampton want him, although Palace saying they don't want to send him to a Premier League club. The owner at Lille, I read earlier on, is the owner at Palace, and they may be looking at a loan for him as well. Oscar Bob, no. Andreas put it just for the chat. Oscar Bob's featured heavily in pre-season, I think, for City. I think.
Yeah, like I said, it's very slim hope if they want to get him, but just put him there, because if there's a slim hope, but very, very unrealistic, that one,
Yeah.
You need one. You need to be one unrealistic.
Yeah, of course. It's a conversation starter, sure. But out of the English targets, and let's just hone down on, say, Clark, Whittaker, Raksaki, Rowe. What do we think, lads, on them 4 players there?
I want Clark in case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would it be Clark?
I honestly, I think they're all too expensive.
Do you?
Is that too doom and gloom? I just think they are.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I hope I am.
So you're looking at Raksaki as a loan then?
Yep.
Yeah.
Out of all the names we've said, I think we mentioned him last year, didn't we? I'd be very, very happy with Raksaki. Very, very happy. I think he's a really good player. And like I said, would be in the Premier League if Crystal Palace allowed that. But they clearly want him to go to the Championship because it's a good league to develop. And he'll get minutes. Yeah, I'd like Jack Clark. He's improved a lot. He was really good last year. He was. For me, Rowe, I think it cost more than 15 million. I don't think we'd pay that.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Norwich
direct rival too.
Yeah, they wouldn't sell out for me. I just don't think they would. I just don't think they would. They will be going for top 6. I don't think they'd sell to us unless it's a ridiculous fee. Whittaker's interesting. I'm not sure he's as good as the others, to be honest. I know his numbers were ridiculous, but I just think as a player, I think he's got a lot more to go. I do recall him struggling a lot against the better teams.
He struggled against us. Genuinely, he struggled against us. Massively.
He's a good player. He's really good at what he does. I just think he needs to develop more of a skill set to make it to top. He can do that, but I think that's what he needs to do. I don't think he's that ready yet. But if we did get him, I'd assume Daniel Farker thinks he can do that and get the best out of him, so I would be happy. But for me, Raksaki is... I think the thing about Raksaki that I love, he's really good with both feet. It's an underrated feature. Really good with both feet. Like Reese, who I mentioned, he's good with both feet as well. That'd be the one for me out of them, definitely.
Yeah, and it's easily doable in terms of financially, innit? Yep. You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
and by Whittaker, I remember that in January he had the opportunity to go to Lazio and he refused. So he really backs himself,
Mm-hmm.
Go to.
Rowe has a year left. Is that true?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that he hasn't really left apparently. Yeah.
I'm fairly sure it was him who we were talking about. I was watching the Top Norwich City. I was wanting to know about the links, and I'm fairly sure it was him that they said no chance.
So they let him go.
They think he stays. Yeah.
He needs to sign a new contract then.
Yeah.
He needs to sign a new contract.
We'll see. I love them all.
Of course. Yeah. We shall. Well, no doubt we'll find more over the next coming days because Somerville deal will go through, and then we'll have a look. Right, folks. Well, I think we'll leave it there. Listen, we've done an hour and 45 minutes, jam-packed show for you all. Big up to everyone that's watched. Again, great numbers, average view duration, well up there. So big up to everyone. It just shows the hard work doesn't go unnoticed. So big up to everyone. Thank you for watching. Please do smash a like on the video. Make sure you go check out Ben Lockheed Leeds because he did do a video that he released today as well, like Jeffrey's mentioned here. And he mentioned Hansen on there as well. So it's a little bit more in tune with them with his picks. So make sure you go and watch that video. It's a great watch. Ben Lockheed Leeds. Check out Andrea as well on Twitter. And obviously, if you can speak Italian, watch some Italian TV as well. You might see him on there.
If you want, I can put the links next
TV,
time on Twitter.
Yeah, put the links there. Bobby says he's an 8, but has Lockie heard of this guy?
Not good with names.
He's Switzerland,
I've
I don't know
done a
him
video
really.
on it. Yeah, I'm not huge on the Switzerland league, to be honest, Bobby.
Yeah, me too. Some Gallen, yeah.
I did today because he was at PSG. I've heard of him before. When he was younger.
Christian Witzig.
Witzig, yeah.
I've heard the name.
But I don't know him specifically, honestly, because in the Swiss league I know Pafundi, I know of course Liam Miller. Then you need to give me other names because if I go and check on Transfermarkt, I can tell you other names that I know, but right now in my mind I can't remember other any immediately like this.
Course.
There's Ugrinic, for example, yeah, Zanotti, yeah, all those players. Imeri, yeah, there's some players too.
There we go. Right, folks, we'll leave it there. Listen, Andrea Lockie, from me to you, thank you both for putting in the work. And we'll no doubt see more of you throughout the season. It's exciting because we're not too far away now. We're just 2 days away from from our final friendly, Valencia. So,
can I just ask you one thing really quickly, Joe?
Yeah.
Who do we get? What winger do we get? It's gonna be Miller, isn't it?
Do you think it will be Miller?
Typical Leeds. We're saying all these extravagant names.
The fan base will be fuming, if it's.
I don't mind him. I quite like him. But...
See, I don't mind him, but the fan base will be fuming. But Raksaki would be the one, but I just feel there might be too much competition, and Leeds United very rarely when there's competition get their man, if I'm honest. So I think they might end up with someone else. I'd love Raksaki, but we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully it's one of your names off the list. That'd be the best, wouldn't it? That'd be the best. We'll have to wait and see. But like BMG says, we might get a 10. We might get Sammy Schmodics. You never know. You never know. We might get a 10. We'll have to wait and see. But thanks always for watching. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Get your comments in. Hit the notification bell. And we will see you later.